Hi, Dr. Kapil. I'm a bit curious what you think is going on when we play this shell game of creating desires we tell ourselves we really want and care about, but at the same time, we're non serious about actually doing the activities to achieve that thing and, you know, reach that goal or get into that position or acquire that thing. Um, what do you think people are actually doing when they fabricate that kind of situation for themselves?
That's just what's going on, what you just described.
Hi, Doctor. I recently looked into astrology a lot, and I want to hear what's your viewpoint about astrology.
Hi, I just wanted to check in and ask how you are doing personally and to just check in with everybody else while
Hello, Dr. Gupta. Many things are very fleeting, pleasure, emotions, even desires that seem to kind of come and go. But there's still a sense of a constant center that exists, that gets carried from day to day, from moment to moment. Is that sense of a center or some core an illusion?
It doesn't matter. You feel it, so you feel it. It doesn't matter what it is. That would just be an intellectual. That would just be an intellectual piece of knowledge. It wouldn't be anything that you can do anything with. So there's no point in talking about it.
Hi, Dr. Gupta. You've disparaged intro music and podcasts and stuff in the past. I'm wondering what made you decide to use it today?
I didn't use it. I haven't been on Twitter Spaces in a while, and when I came on, the music just came on, and I didn't know where it came from, so then I disabled it.
Oh, that makes sense. Thanks.
Or do they remain the same?
No, fundamental truth is a fundamental truth. Society changes, truths don't.
Can truth be explained, or is it just known?
No, it can be explained, but the person on the receiving end must have a significant amount of bandwidth in order to understand it.
Hey, yeah, I was just wondering, what does it take to have that bandwidth to receive that explanation that you just...
Well, that it really isn't a prodigious amount of intelligence. In fact, intellectualism really is a blockage. It's a barrier. The bandwidth is typically in the setting of devotion, sincerity, seriousness, the DNA to truly and genuinely and deeply want to know for its own sake.
Does that come with the experience?
No.
Thank you.
Hey, I was wondering, how do you remove the ego or kill the ego?
At the truth. Is there a way to test or...
Hey, Kapil, thank you for doing these spaces. Just had a question about money. So I realize money is required for survival when it comes to buying food, buying shelter, whatever. But what role does money play when it comes to freedom? Because I understand maybe that, if I want to go a place, I need money to do so. But is money something that actually is a requirement for truth?
Is money a requirement for truth? It depends in what aspect you're talking about. I mean, could someone devote himself to truth and live in homeless fashion, absolutely. But he would have to sustain himself in some way, even to pursue the truth, because without food, he wouldn't be able to live. So in order to walk the path of truth, one must have money so that all of one's needs can be taken care of, which allows him the freedom to then seek the truth. But does one, like I said, one could live in a cave and eat berries and pursue the truth, and the berries could sustain him. So, in that sense, no.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking my question. I wanted to build off the last question.
There's no balance. Because if you're speaking of balance, then you're doing it because you think it's a good thing to do. Nothing happens by way of um, this this forced and fit into its own place moderation and a little of this and a little of that. Those things are for meager things. Those are not for ultimate things. There's no balance. It is about what one truly desires in a savage way more than anything else. It isn't incremental. It isn't in moderation. Those are for common worldly things. They are not for things that are otherworldly and ultimate.
The only
He wasn't ready for that answer.
With regards to exposure, how deeply do the things we're exposed to affect us? So,
well, if you examine your own life, what you have been exposed to is the world, your whole life, for however many years you've been alive. The world, society, its principles, its tenets, all the things that the people around you told you, all the things that your friends told you, the things you read in books, the things you watched in the media, all the things that you've been exposed to. Look into your own mind. Just look at the things that you say and speak. Look at your behavior patterns, and look specifically at what you have not accomplished, be it in the professional, but more importantly, in the realm of life. And that will tell you how deeply the exposure has affected you.
Would you describe meditation as going back to source or checking in with source?
You're not ready for any real response because you are too blindfolded and brainwashed by spirituality.
Even if I realize that every time I lie in my voice in the head, like my thoughts are in aligned with what I actually want, right? And my mind is always lying, it still feels as if there's still an I there, right? So isn't it I that justifies I exists?
It doesn't matter. It's all intellectual upon intellectual upon intellectual.
Hello, sorry, could you hear me? I think my connection is lagging.
Hey, Kapil, how would you describe a world where everyone is free, truly free?
There's no world of free. There's only a world of nonsense and poison. If you want to do anything, do it for yourself. Forget the world.
Be more giving and giving. But how do you be more givingful without the fear of someone?
Why do you want to be giving?
Is self-realization only way for enlightenment?
All those terms have no meaning. Well, I've already responded to you. I said, why do you want to be giving?
I missed that. Sorry. Could you repeat it, please?
Why do you want to? Why do you want to be giving?
Good question.
Hi, Doctor. In a podcast, you had said quote, "The things that we do the greatest, we know not how we do them." You also said that this is because the details of what we do best are not full and not knowable. I was wondering if you'd be able to expand on this. Specifically, how can it be that the details of what we do best are unknowable even to ourselves?
Do you have a talent?
I like art and I dabble in art, but I wouldn't say I'm talented in it by any means.
Okay, so what are you talented in? What are you good at?
I would say if I had to say, if I would say that if I had a talent, it would be art.
Okay, how do you do the art?
I like to paint from references, so I often just take photographs of landscapes and then recreate them with different mediums.
Okay, how do you recreate them?
I lean on the photographs as a reference.
Okay, so if someone else did not have that talent and they leaned on the photograph, would they be able to produce what you produced?
Not in the same way, but I guess that's what makes it art.
Well, and that's why I'm going to ask you every single thing that you do, and you're going to tell me the physicality of what you do, and the more that I ask you, the less answers that you're going to provide.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Do children learn languages so easily, in part because they have quote unquote no mind?
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Wondering if you would share your thoughts on sexual relations, like between human beings, between any two beings.
How do you break an addiction?
Hello, Dr. Gupta. Why does the mind sometimes listen to you and sometimes it does not? Does it have to do?
Good evening. I was wondering if my instinct is equivalent to the truth.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking my question. I was wondering if you had any advice on balancing my pursuit of power and authority and my.
Thank you for taking my question. The exposure to your work changes me a lot from inside and makes me a very different person. But then again, exposure to the society changes me back to the defaults. I'm not asking for a prescription here, but is solitude the only solution? Like just staying alone? Because I again get exposed to the society and again restore to defaults.
It's about what you choose to expose yourself more to.
Um,
Hello, Kapil. I have listened to your discourses and the like for several years now, and it has changed my life radically, both internally and materially. But in the last couple of weeks, I realized I still hadn't gotten completely serious, and I had just been wasting my life. And I decided that was that time had ended. And in the last couple of weeks, I have been seriously inquiring into where my anxiety arises from, and when it appears. And it doesn't appear to come from actual events that happen, but from when my mind creates a scenario about what might happen to me in the future. And I realized that I really must overcome the mind at all costs. And so my question is, what do I need to understand about the mind so that I can be effective on this
There's
journey?
a lot. There's no way that I can tell you a quick thing to understand that will help you overcome the mind. That's like trying to drink the ocean. There's no way that I can tell you that. It's a long-term, systematic, serious journey of exploration to doing that. There's no way I can tell you X and that'll help you. It's almost it's really a ridiculous question. The sincerity from which it arises is nice, but the question itself really is not answerable in this type of format.
What you know is the truth.
Thank you so much for taking the question. I've been following your work for probably 2 years now, and it's completely changed my life. And so, first of all, I'm extremely thankful for everything you do, and it's honestly an honor to talk to you. And I almost can't believe you exist because I feel like I've been searching for you for my entire life. So, thank you for everything you do. I guess my question is, sometimes when I feel like I'm in search of a truth for any given situation, I go through an intellectual exercise to get to the bedrock of that truth. And I wonder if sometimes it takes me longer to get there, and sometimes I'm not even sure if I'm at the bedrock because I'm using my mind to understand it. So I was hoping you could.
Well, using intellectualism to get there is all you know. And when something's all you know, then that's all you're going to use. The more you learn about the truth, then the more you will be cognizant of that fact, and therefore you won't fall so easily for that trap. But thank you for your words.
Is it possible to consciously alter the self-image of oneself?